Okay, we all know that too much sugar is bad for us, right? But what if I told you the real danger isn't just lurking in the candy aisle? What if it's actually coming from your grill? The hidden story of why sugar is so damaging is so much more complex and frankly more surprising than you might think. It goes way beyond just empty calories.
So you think you've got this handled. You're skipping dessert, you're saying no to sugary sodas, and you're feeling pretty good about it. But here's the thing. Chances are you are still consuming way more sugar than you realize. It's hiding in plain sight, in all sorts of processed foods where you'd never, ever expect it.
I mean, get this. According to the American Heart Association, the average American puts away about 22 teaspoons of added sugar every single day. Just to put that into perspective, the official recommendation is only 6 teaspoons for women and 9 for men. So we're not just a little over the line, we've completely blown past it. And this is where the story takes a really interesting turn. The problem isn't just about the sugar you're spooning into your coffee. Some of the absolute worst, most harmful compounds are actually formed when you cook foods that seem perfectly healthy, especially at high temperatures. So it's time to meet the real villains of this story. Let's pull back the curtain on a group of harmful compounds with a name that is, well, pretty fitting. AGEs. AGEs. It stands for Advanced Glycation End Products. I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, but here's all you really need to remember. Think of it as your body slowly caramelizing from the inside out. Seriously, when sugar gloms onto proteins or fats, it creates these sticky, damaging compounds that our bodies have a really tough time getting rid of. So how does this happen? Well, it happens in 2 main ways. First, it happens inside your body. When you have high blood sugar, all that extra sugar starts latching onto proteins and fats that are just floating around in your bloodstream. But second, and this is the part that might really surprise you, it happens outside your body, in the food you cook. AGs are created anytime you use high, dry heat. Think grilling, frying, or roasting. And the difference here isn't small. It's staggering. Cooking with dry heat can multiply the AGEs in your food by 10 to 100 times compared to if you just ate it raw. Let that sink in for a second. This makes one thing crystal clear. How you cook your food is just as important as what food you cook. Let's look at a real-world example right here. Take about 3 ounces of chicken. If you poach it, you're looking at about 1,000 AGE units, okay? But now, take that exact same piece of chicken and throw it on the grill. The AGEs just skyrocket to over 5,000. And look at the beef. Broiling sends it even higher to 6,600. The takeaway here is just undeniable. Your stove, your grill, they can make a massive difference. Okay, so we've got these AGEs building up from the sugar in our blood and from the food on our plates. But what are they actually doing in there? Let's go investigate the crime scenes inside our own bodies. So where does all this damage begin? Well, for a lot of us, it starts in the brain. It starts with a feeling we all know, that intense, almost irresistible craving for something sweet. The moment you eat that sugar, it's like a fireworks show goes off in your brain's reward center. It releases a flood of dopamine, that's the feel-good chemical, and your brain basically lights up and says, "Whoa, that was awesome, let's do that again." And that powerful dopamine hit is exactly what gets you hooked. It kicks off a vicious cycle. Over time, your brain gets used to it and you build up a tolerance. And pretty soon, you need more and more sugar just to get that same buzz. Sound familiar at all? And look, if that cycle feels like an addiction, well, that's because it basically is. This isn't just you feeling weak-willed. There's real science here. Studies have found that sugar dependence hits on at least 5 of the official diagnostic criteria for substance abuse disorder. We're talking cravings, tolerance, withdrawal. It's literally hijacking the exact same reward pathways in your brain that hard drugs do. Now, beyond the brain, sugar and these AGEs are like a wrecking crew for the rest of your body, and their main tool is inflammation. I love this quote from Catherine Basbaum at UVA Health. She says, if inflammation is the root of so many diseases, then sugar is like pouring gasoline on the fire. It just creates this constant, low-level, smoldering inflammation throughout your entire body. And that smoldering fire, it leaves behind a trail of destruction. High levels of AGEs are directly linked to a terrifying list of our most feared chronic diseases. We're talking heart disease, type 2 diabetes, kidney failure, Alzheimer's, and even premature aging. This is serious stuff. Okay, I know that was a lot of doom and gloom, but here's the good news, and it is really good news. You are not powerless here, not even close. There are very clear, science-backed strategies to reduce your AGE levels and take back your health. So let's open up the anti-AGEs playbook.
The strategy is actually pretty straightforward. It all boils down to 4 key moves: changing how you cook, limiting certain foods, adding in protective ones, and, you guessed it, getting active. Let's break each one down. All right, first up, and this is a huge one. Cook smarter, not harder. Instead of blasting your food with that high, dry heat from grilling and frying, try switching to cooking with moisture. Think poaching, stewing, boiling, and steaming. These methods keep those nasty AGEs from forming in the first place. It's such a simple swap, but it makes a world of difference.
Number 2, just be a little more mindful of foods that tend to be naturally high in AGEs. This means things like red meats, certain cheeses, butter, and a lot of highly processed foods. Now, the goal here isn't perfection, right? It's not about never eating these things again. It's just about limiting them. That alone is a massive win.
And number 3. This is the fun part. Load up on your defensive line. We're talking antioxidants. Think of them as your body's personal security team. You find them in all those incredible, colorful fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices. They literally help stop AGEs from forming and protect your cells from all that damage. So eat the rainbow. So when you boil it all down, this is what it comes to. Knowledge is power. The damage we've been talking about is real, it's serious, but it is not inevitable. Every single meal, every choice you make in the kitchen is a chance to fight back. It's an opportunity to heal. So the only question left is, which will you choose?